Hi guys, welcome back to Marvel Contest of Champions. As you well know, next month we are going to be getting Mr. King Groot just above, and also we are going to be getting a little lady called Angela. And probably a lot of people are wondering, who the heck is Angela? And hey, that's why I subscribe to RichTheMan, because he's going to tell you all about her. So let's get into it. So to start off with, her real name is not actually Angela. Her real name is Aldrich, Odin's daughter. And yeah, that does mean that she is the daughter of Freya and Odin, obviously of Asgard fame. So you're probably wondering what the heck that is all about, because the idea that, hey, I've watched several films, I haven't heard of her. Well, and quite weirdly, she is the older sister of Thor and Loki. But the whole kind of start point around her and why we don't know about it is she gets kidnapped. So that's why we haven't heard about it. She got kidnapped when she was very young, and she was then sort of near death. She was kind of killed, or what we thought to be killed, by the Queen of the Angels from the Heaven or Heaven realm, which is one of the 10 realms. I think now it's down to 9 realms when Odin cut them away. But anyway, Heaven were in an attack against Asgard, and Asgard, well, they're on the brink of kind of like everything was just it's going to be bad. So boom, she kidnaps Aldrich, and then it's one of these things where she tries to, Queen of the Angels tries to kill her and doesn't succeed, and her handmaiden or maiden decides that she takes pity on Aldrich because Aldrich survives like miraculously, and she goes, right, well, what I'm going to do is I'm going to keep you and I'm going to raise you as an angel in Heaven. So the kind of real odd pre-Loki story. So maybe that's a good kind of starting point, and the idea behind why Odin took pity on Loki being a frost giant child and showing him love and raising him as one of his own. Obviously, being an Asgardian, being raised as an angel, you know, all the other angels have wings. Aldrich does not, and obviously she is now Angela. Poor Angela obviously was bullied, so obviously that starts either one or two ways. It either gets you in a very kind of a very weak psychological state, or it turns you into real hardened, very kind of determined and also very wary of friendship type person. And she turns into that type of person. So she's one of these people you don't want to get on the wrong side of her, which I like. I think that's quite good. It's kind of the Gamora kind of edge to her, and then quite kind of interestingly, she's gay. Okay, she's gay. She's a lesbian. She falls in love with another, an angel. It wasn't another, but an angel called Sarah. And Sarah is just so odd because the way that obviously nothing ever is fairy tale and lasts in comic books, because she gets killed, and there's such a kind of a rich tapestry of story where Angela, who is in love with Sarah, will go to hell itself in order to get her out. And that's one of the stories that we'll find in the comic books. And if you want to find out more, I will put the links to some fantastic stories on Angela. And I do strongly recommend finding out more about the source material about Marvel Contest of Champions, because it is very important to the way that the game is delivered to us. But yeah, she battles through hell in order to get Sarah back. Oh, that's so, oh, love. Oh. Yeah, you wouldn't find Rose in Titanic, you know, diving down to pick up Jack, would she? So that's how far Angela goes in order to get the person that she loves. Timelines are really kind of like skewed in that, like, she's for some reason there's been a problem and she's had to then go to Midgard. Obviously that's Earth. In our kind of primitive tongue, in Asgardian tongue, it's Midgard, or in the realms, the cosmic realms, it is Earth, Midgard. And she gets attacked by the Guardians of the Galaxy, and they appear again in the later kind of stories. And it's kind of odd because obviously, like, Guardians of the Galaxy, like them guys are always picking a fight for some reason, whether or not it's for a good cause or it's just a random cause. You know, they are guarding our galaxy, and it's just happened to come across someone who's kind of hopping between different realms and find her. And then they manage to stop her and imprison her. And there's a fight between her and Gamora. And obviously she's imprisoned, and they go, right, well, oh, I'm just traveling between worlds, and they let her go. But it's not the first time that she's had her timelines and been taken out of her realms just mysteriously. There's a thing with Wolverine traveling between timelines and kind of realms, and as a result, she's pulled into the timeline of incidents of the Age of Ultron, which is kind of odd. She like can't kind of go along having a normal life without being sucked into these weird timelines, especially by very kind of odd and strange characters. This final story is an absolutely crazy story because obviously we know that she was kidnapped as a child, but she thinks that Sarah is telling her to do certain things, and as a result what she does is she goes to Asgard and well, she kidnaps her younger sister. This is Lausa, Odin's daughter, and she takes her and leaves. And it's kind of odd because she's got like a convoy, like a getaway car in the shape and form of the Guardians of the Galaxy again. Like, what are they doing? They're kind of harboring a fugitive and taking her. Like this baby Lausa's with her, and there's this big thing about she needs to get this child to ignite the furnaces of Heaven. And obviously it's very conflicted because we've got Freya trying to chase down, she wants her daughter back. The same thing with Odin, doesn't want the fact that Heaven, the enemy of the angels, can't have them back. I'm just imagining some kind of like Brian Blessed from Flash, just there like, you shall not take the daughter. No, take the daughter. Ignite the fires, because it is a race against time to get the fires lit. There's this kind of thing as well between Freya, Odin, and the sulfur. Like there's a sulfur child, and the kind of the idea that this child is like has two fathers and one mother. It's honestly is a bit crazy with the story. And then it gets even more crazier because they manage to get the child there. Angela has a change of mind and thought, and decides that she needs to save the child in the end. Thor's there. There's a thing about Thor punching her in the face because of her great healing factor. It doesn't mean that it's like she, boom, and she's back up again. But it turns out that the person pretending to be Sarah is actually Malekith, obviously the dark elf. So that kind of twist in the story does become relevant. But man, it's a crazy story that and kind of like build up that she has. Very interesting and very fun, but also very crazy. Right, only thing left to do in the video is to check her abilities out and kind of give you a little bit of a teaser of what to expect. These are powers as stated by Marvel Wikia, and there is a good plethora of powers, and I'm hoping she manages to get a little bit of the stuff here, like in particular healing factor. That would be rather important, but it's very hard to tell. Obviously strength, superhuman strength, this is something that goes hand in hand with a lot of Marvel characters, but I'm hoping that she gets a similar amount with regards to things like, I don't know, fury, like something that's going to boost her strength level, similar in kind of a way to Phoenix Force when it comes to characters like Phoenix, and that would be a good platform to kind of start the character, because she doesn't have any kind of great things about her. There's no mystical presence, which is kind of odd, because obviously you kind of say, right, well, would she inherit anything from her mum? But not really, and it's that mystical taunt that was what Loki had, but it doesn't really kind of go the same way when it comes to Thor. So there doesn't really seem to be anything of great kind of understanding, apart from flight. Flight's a kind of a given thing, and you got that kind of rogue vibe with the flight, but nothing with regards to the powers. Don't expect that. Just using it as a reference point. No, it does seem like pretty standard stuff. What they'd like to give the character, would she have learnt anything? Maybe bleeding would be something. She would possess and use things like, I think she uses axes. So We'll probably see some axe work in some kind of way. And axes need to come into the game. Like we need some real strong characters with axes. I don't know why. I've got this kind of this thing that this is the next weapon that's got to come in. We've had throwing stars. We've got swords. Hell, we've even got crazy sticks. Now what we need is some axes. I'm not going to say that we're going to see I don't know, some axe chopping action, but you know that means it kind of paves the way for maybe some more kind of characters straight out of Asgard. So that would be very, very good if we can get that. Yeah, superhuman speed. I would like to see some speed. That would be really good to kind of apply something that may be leading up to other characters that have intense speed. But apart from that, durability, you know, you could be saying, well, armor. It's got this kind of Amazonian woman vibe, the same way that it could be said for characters in a DC world like Wonder Woman. So quite excited to see a character like this based on her being quite unusual and very left field. So the aspect of King Groot and what that will kind of hold, who knows. But yeah, all exciting. And hopefully this video has been very helpful to give you an idea of who Angela is and what to expect when she comes into the game. I've been RichTheMan, and if you did enjoy this video, please hit that like button, thumbs up, set those notifications on when my videos pop up. Thank you for all the support. If you want to follow me on social media, the link is in the description below for Facebook and Twitter and Instagram. And yeah, share it with some friends that maybe don't know much about Angela. And I shall catch you on the flip side. Thanks and goodbye. Oh, and as per usual, whilst I'm recording a video, something changes. And the data mine information from the game via Marvel Contest of Champions Strokos. It's great because now we know what's happening with the character. So I can now add this to the video. So it creates a kind of an idea about what we were talking about. So at the time of recording the video, the first part, I didn't know what was going to be happening. Now that I do, because this has been recorded at 21:19 in the UK on the 27th of the 3rd, we now know what's happening. So battle focus. As Angela enters combat, she gains greater and greater focus, allowing each buff active on her to reduce or nullify ability chance to trigger against her by X%. Handy when you're facing against certain characters. I think Mystic class probably, which is kind of odd because I think this character will be cosmic, so it would be playing against the class disadvantage. Special attacks. Sword of the Stars. Angela unleashes powerful series of strikes with her Sword Xiphos. Angela dashes forward to employ the blade separates before combining them to strike again. And the blade is kind of a... It does look a bit like, rather than looking like some sort of sword. It is a sword. Okay, it is a sword, but it looks a bit like an axe. Okay, it is an axe. In my mind, I just look at it, it's like, oh, you look like an axe. Martial mastery. Angela strikes with the Sword of the Stars, forcing her opponent back before drawing the blades of Ichor to finish them. This is where the abilities get interesting because I think there's resilience or something like that. Resilient. For each X% of max health taken in damage, immediately gain resilience counter. When below 100% of max health without an active regeneration buff, convert. And it says regeneration, so this does mean that we're getting regeneration, which the character should have. A resilience counter into a regeneration buff, hitting X% over X seconds. What I love about this character is the two other aspects that I really wanted. And I'm so excited for, because we got Fury. I can see Fury. If there's already a Fury active on Angela, this effect lasts for X seconds instead. If there's already an armor up, so it's armor up and we get Fury and regeneration. I love it. I like the fact that Angela gains a buff based on her current power level. So this is going to be interesting, isn't it? Each time Angela lands a critical hit, she duplicates the buff she's being granted by her current power level. So what we're looking out for is a crit rate team. Interesting. Similar in kind of aspects to the way that Scarlet Witch kind of functions, in that obviously by hitting a crit you get a buff. It's kind of a mixture between power levels and crits. Crits are doubles of what the power level kind of gains. This buff has a duration of X seconds and a maximum of X stacks of each buff can be duplicated. And this would be interesting to see what X kind of applies to. If X is, say, depending on level, so if it's like a 3-star, it can only do a certain amount. So there's stackable to a certain degree. We're not going to see the kind of crazy amount like 5 or 6. Scarlet Witch isn't as good as she used to be. I remember getting like 4, even 5 stackable regens, so I don't think we're going to see those days again. What I can say is that I'm quite interested to work this character around things like mastery that's got fury, that's got maybe armor. I'm not 100% sure, but crit rate is going to be good for this character, and critical damage might be as well very good. Quite excited about this character. Quite excited. So, you know, let's get her in. Let's put her in some crazy synergy teams and see what we can get. I'm definitely gonna have to push to get this character in some way, whether it's in crystals, arena, I don't know. I've got to do something. So anyway, thanks again, and we'll see you when the character's released. Bye bye for now.